Hi, this is Erin Haskell here from Los Angeles, California. It's 7 a.m. here, and I'm here with my father, Dr. Alexander Haskell, and he's in Salt Lake City, Utah. He's been an ND doctor for over 25 years. Is that correct? 25 years?
Yeah, it's getting on there. More, a little closer to 30 years now.
You're getting old, Dad. What's up?
No,
we
not
wanted to, we want to welcome everybody. We're here with a very intentional, fun program, and we have collaborated. My father has worked with obviously thousands of patients and came to the realization that almost every single person he worked with, he felt like it would benefit everybody to go through a detoxification program first, allowing the innate body that is there, that the wisdom that is within each body to heal itself. Wondering, once they went through a detoxification, what's there, what symptoms are there after they've gone through a big detox? And meanwhile, I've been working in the spiritual realm for quite some years, and we've collaborated knowing that the body is the number one, it's the communicator of the spirit. And now we've come together in a fantastic program about detoxification and purification and having the conversation, the education, and opening to a forum for everyone to chime in and be a part of this community, to see the effects of what a detoxification program does, how it benefits, how it automatically has some things that are taken off the shelf as far as symptoms. And we're here to have fun with this program. So how are you, Dad? Tell us a little bit about what your thoughts are and intention around today's discussion.
Yeah, I think what you said is true. That I've seen thousands of people, and everybody presents a little differently. But really, I feel like the primary underlying issue with most disease, which really goes back in time in medicine to Hippocrates. He said there's two reasons why people become ill, primarily two reasons. The first is because the body, or all the cells in the body, have basically nutrient deficiencies, and therefore their activity declines because they don't have the nutrients they require for optimal metabolism or activity. The second thing Hippocrates talked about was the effects of environmental toxins. And the environmental toxins these days are quite different than the time of Hippocrates. So if we can just help people to nourish their bodies and the trillions of cells within the body, they will work better, more optimal, and also ridding toxins which are stored in different tissues in the body, primarily fat cells. Get those toxins out, and people's vitality just increases. Their health is improved. And no matter really what the condition is, whether it's a physical condition, whether it's a thyroid issue, whether it's fibromyalgia, whether it's chronic fatigue, or even mental issues, all of these conditions, no matter what the diagnosis, underlying causes are very, very similar with everyone. So it's a very simple program. It's the foundation of what's called naturopathy, or natural healing, holistic health, is rather than treating symptoms, which pharmaceuticals are very good at, we're treating the whole body in a holistic way. The underlying principle is the body, that innate wisdom, the innate physician, will, in its full capacity, restore health, restore mental and physical health, if we remove the obstacles, if we remove the toxins, if we nourish and give to that inner wisdom the tools it needs to regenerate and rejuvenate a person's vitality.
Thanks for saying that. So it's like stripping away, I would say it's like stripping away an onion. So we're going to be doing more than just the body, because obviously kind of everybody knows, like, duh, I shouldn't be eating, processed food, I shouldn't be doing that. But what is it that's happening within the individual, within the spirit, that's having it reach for something that is not good for itself, that is reaching for, not reaching towards the health or something that they know is nutritious. So I think there's the gap that I want this program to be for people, is the gap of knowing that, yes, obviously all these food things are important. Sorry, my alarm on, because I woke up earlier than my alarm, as if we were just going to be recording right now. So peeling back the layers of the onion, which is a counterintuitive thing, which is the same as in spiritual work as it is in health work. A lot of times people just want to take a supplement. They want to go, add something to it. Oh, if I just take enough, vitamin C, if I just eat enough this, if I just do enough this. But a lot of it is stripping away first the toxins. And it's the same with spiritual work. You can read every book under the sun, you can do all this stuff, but stripping away the limited belief, stripping away the identity, stripping away what is dysfunctional, what is causing the upsets in your life, a lot of that work happens before our natural. We're already divine, we're already loving. That's what our essence is. So it's like building, taking away the walls and seeing what's there. And this is the same thing with health. But strip away what is holding you back in your body and see what's there first. I'm excited about this program. I know that this may not be a first concept like Louise Hay's come across, obviously discussing the body's link to the spiritual world. But this is a experiential, this is an implementation program, this is putting it to action. Because again, you can read every book under the sun, but are you applying that book? Are you implementing those principles to your life? I mean, I remember a time when I would read a book and think, well, I know that because I've read that book, and it's like, no, not until I actually apply it and live that do I know that book. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think what you said is true, that people are searching for solutions. And, you can go the route of trying supplements or, detox programs that are different powders and different supplements. But really, unless you get into the deep core of the body and, let's say, the spirit, unless you get in deep and start removing some of these toxins or investigating your relationships and all those things that have a great influence on us. And I think education is actually another platform, another pillar of recovery, is becoming educated. A lot of the purification programs out there, and they're becoming extremely popular because people are realizing that they're being intoxicated by different influences around our environment. These programs are, some are pretty good, but the thing is that unless a person removes those environmental toxins, or somehow not removes, but works on their relationships, that they're going to become sort of re-intoxicated again. So the progress you make, unless you change your habits, whether habits be lifestyle habits or relationship habits, you're going to sort of retrieve or regress back into the same place you were before.
Yeah, we're going to be going through a 30-day program. So each day will be an education piece to it. And then, of course, there is the actual detoxification. And it was funny because we were discussing this, and I don't know if I should call you my dad or Dr. Haskell, let's call you very serious here, said, we're brainstorming around marketing and what all this is. And he's like, what is the primary thing that people are going to be coming for? We thought, of course, weight, and then, of course, low energy, because all disease pretty much comes down to the low energy and all that stuff. It's like, well, those are symptoms. What is really going on for people? And it's suffering. It all comes down to education, because then you have that choice for free will for yourself. And what's great about this program is we thought about this over and over. What are the best ways to detox? There's particular ways the body detoxes, obviously, but how do we put that into packages that are realistic for people? And we wanted to do at least three programs, because each person's different. And I don't think it's a cookie cutter thing to detox. One is sauna work, one is juicing, one's diet modification, and some people will do all three of them, a kind of a hodgepodge of three, but they're very simple programs. It's a 30-day program. There's also community for people, because we thought, what would I want if I was going through a detoxification program and I can't afford to go spend $10,000-$20,000 to go check into some ritzy place where I go to some luxury resort and do detox. What is it that I would want in my life to have that occur? And of course, community is huge. People are very isolated, and it's another thing that's playing into their health is their depression and being isolated and lonely. And we know it. go out with your friends or put on some great music and watch how good your body feels, versus sitting in the house and being lonely. And so we don't want this to be another program that's going to isolate you. We want you to get out in the world, where it's going to be homework projects, to get out into the world. And part of this program is looking at all areas of your life and what's feeding into them emotionally, that's having you choose things, going to food, to choose things to fulfill you, when really there's other areas of your life for you to be expressed in. We're going to be looking at everything from the water you're putting in your body, that what level, what good waters, to the pesticides, to the toxics, that from your cell phone to everything. We want to look at this at the end of 30 days. I want people to be empowered. I want them to know I have free will. I can see, I now can't be asleep at this. I know what is working for me and what isn't working for me. I have those distinctions within my life, and I looked at that for 30 days, and I detoxed to a level that I never detoxed before. So now I see the world at a new level, because I feel better, and I am clear on a physical level and in a mental level, in that I have choice now to choose how I choose to toxify, or how I choose to empower myself every day.
And part of our, we've all been through the, getting excited about something, and maybe joining a gym, and we're excited for a week, and then it kind of dissipates, and we kind of fall off, and don't follow through. And one of the reasons why we chose this sort of daily purification, this 30 days, is because 30 days is manageable for people, especially in our program. We're sending something to each person every single day, whether it's a digital module or whether it's an MP3 recording or whatever. We're there every single day to hopefully inspire people to want to continue. And I think one of the things that I've noticed that happens with a lot of people that go through our purification program is that as the body is detoxifying, people go through what is called a healing crisis. If people understand through our education that this is going to happen, and it's not a crisis you need to seek necessarily medical help for, but it's just the body's innate wisdom going through the purification, going through the release of toxins, and people feeling worse, a little worse before they become feeling better. Actually feel better at first, being on the juices and the saunas and the cleanse, but then they'll go through a sort of major detox, and they will feel a little worse. So if a person is doing this on their own without this kind of knowledge or information, saying, oh my God, this program isn't working, I'm feeling worse than I did before. But it's something that people go through. It's this innate wisdom going through the cleanse. So part of our program is to help you understand this is what's going on, and to give you adjunctive therapies to help pass through this healing crisis much more rapidly, coming out the other side on a new plateau of health that you will not drop down, because you've also been educated about removing those environmental toxins, cleaning up your environment, and finding safe alternatives to things like cleaning solutions or cosmetics or whatever it may be that you're being exposed to with these toxins.
Yeah, they say the only way to the other side is through, and it can. I've witnessed people go through, some intense withdrawals. If you're taking substance out of your body, like even sodas, I've seen people go through major withdrawals from sodas. But it is a gradient program, so we try and keep it simple, and we really want people to listen to their own body and go slow on a gradient that works for them. Part of the program, like the sauna work, is much easier because you're detoxing through the body, outside the skin, versus some of the juicing can be more intense because you're going through all the organs. And we'll go through each one of those programs. We're keeping it very simple. We don't want you to be overwhelmed with this, but we want you to also get that it is an inclusive, holistic program, taking all of it into account. And there's a lot of information, a lot of beautiful information. And there's people, I thought, well, people can probably go out on the internet, but it would take them probably a year to kind of search everything, get it all compiled, and have them know, okay, this is all these different areas. And it's like that rabbit hole. You go through the rabbit hole online trying to find all that information and make sense out of it and whatever. So hopefully we build enough of a relationship with you out there, knowing that Dr. Alexander has been in this for 25 years and has done so much research, and we're just lucky to have him. I'm so thankful that he's now put his entire practice as his primary practice is detoxification and purification, and watching and taking the studies and seeing all the symptoms and all the things, all that go away in an instant sometimes for some people, and then for others it just minimizes and makes clear what's really going on. This program is not for to heal disease. Let's just make that clear, that this is a program for the general public. Then if you do have something more intense, you really should be going to a doctor first, whether it be your primary doctor or taking on more blood work before you do this program. This is a general program. This is an overview. This is an educational program. If you have bigger symptoms, you need to go in and get your blood work done before and get an okay from your doctor to be able to do sauna work or a juicing program, because it can be intense. And we're not gonna lie. So Dan, so what do you think is the primary kind of overview for you of what, if you were to give this a gist in a couple minutes of an overview, if you were to explain what is this detoxification and purification program?
Yeah, I think maybe in alignment with that, because I think probably a lot of people viewing this may have some weight issues. So I'll kind of speak around that condition, and that is that when this wisdom that we all have, this inner wisdom, can differentiate between, let's say, a molecule which is vitamin C and a molecule that is, let's say, a plastic, let's say bisphenol A. So the body detects that there's a difference here, and the bisphenol A, it tries to metabolize. So vitality, for fairly young, the vitality of the body can metabolize that through primarily the liver and excrete it out of the body through the intestinal tract. But when our vitality becomes a little bit lower or a little bit older, then the metabolism is not as efficient. Therefore, the body says, I need to get this chemical, this toxin, out of my bloodstream to protect my vital tissues, such as the brain, the nervous system, endocrine system. So what it does is, very wisely, it shunts these toxins into cells which are less vital to our well-being, such as our fat cells. Those toxins are stored in fat cells, are compartmentalized, and that fat cell, eventually the metabolism, what are called the mitochondria in those cells, their energy production starts to decline, and therefore that storage site becomes a little bit inert in the body. And this is part of the reason why it's so difficult to lose weight. And you can talk about this on a larger scale, which is it's so difficult to get these toxins out of storage sites in the body. Other storage sites are the nervous system, are the endocrine system, is the thyroid gland. Metabolism goes down. So the gist of the program is to become knowledgeable about all of the environmental toxins that are harmful to our physical and mental health, and try to figure out ways of avoiding them and finding safe replacements for those toxins, environmental toxins.
And from a spiritual standpoint, one of the first things I would take someone through is to really honor and give gratitude to the body for doing such a great job of keeping it safe. You know, and it's a counterintuitive thing. A lot of people have this view like, oh, fat's bad or something, but it's one of the biggest blessings. One of the biggest blessings that we have is a system that will take whatever is going to hurt the body, all the organs and the brain and everything, and store it in a place that's safe, kind of away from all that. So first honoring that, and then going, it served its purpose, now I'm going to help you get rid of it, body, you know, and just getting the positiveness out of it, proving a great program, a great concept is to look at anything that's happening in life and first in the biggest blessing of your life. So, you know, gaining weight, if you will, is one of the biggest blessings, because if you hadn't, maybe it would have gone into a different disease like cancer or something like that if it hadn't stored it correctly. So just want to throw that in there.
Yeah, excellent. So then the program also involves how to get rid of these stored toxins. So as Erin mentioned, the easiest, quickest route of getting toxins, which again are primarily stored in the fat, in the subdermal fat layer just under the skin. Let's get the toxins out of the skin. And then there's also a part which is how to improve the internal detoxification pathways to the liver and the gallbladder and the intestines. So there's one of the modules is let's work on the intestines first, make sure that sort of that dam is opened up to help release more toxins. Second is gallbladder, which is where the excretions from the liver go into gallbladder. Then we work on the liver. So all the sort of the dams are sort of opened up one at a time, and the body can then therefore release those toxins more effectively and reduce any kind of a healing crisis going on.
And it's so fun. I've seen people grow their hair back. I've seen miracles happen at a detox. It's so much fun because there is parts where it can be challenging if someone's going through some detox around it, but you get through those walls, and I've seen everything. When I first went through one, I mean, the entire world looked different. The colors looked more vibrant. Food tasted better. Everything changed. I've seen incredible transformations over a couple weeks with people. It's so exciting. I love this program.
And I think you mentioned also that when you went through the purification, you actually had like these layers being peeled off.
Oh yeah. It's crazy what comes out of the skin. It's kind of gross, gotta say, actually, when you get in that sauna and all that comes out. You're like, oh, there's that, hydrogenated fat coming out of my skin right now. It's fun though.
Yeah. I think I smell sea and ski suntan lotion.
Yeah, totally, completely. I mean, when they say every single drug that you've ever, had through, when you're sick with doctors, or if you experimented with drugs at all, or any pesticides or anything, it's all in your fat. So it all comes out, all of it.
Yeah. And even the recent research is showing that, I mentioned before the mitochondria, those little, what are called organelles inside of every single cell in our body, they produce energy. They make that cell turn on the metabolic rate. They're showing now that most likely the origin of many, many diseases is because of a dysfunction of those mitochondria. And they're finding that these environmental toxins, many pharmaceutical drugs, even something as benign as a lipid lowering drug, are actually those residues are getting inside of the mitochondria and causing their function to decline. So maybe it's possible, they're thinking that the root of illness is genetics, but even a deeper level than genetics is what sort of controls the DNA and RNA replication is the mitochondria. So it may be that the origin of most diseases is mitochondrial dysfunction. Therefore, the primary way of recovering a health is to get deep into the body, deep into the cells, into the mitochondria, to get those residues out through purification. I mean, this is the foundation of wellness and health.
So this is the most important, most exciting part of this entire program for me, is this part of the conversation. So we have really been talking about mitochondria, and from a spiritual standpoint, this may be a really advanced conversation for some, but I don't believe it is. I believe our entire culture is waking up, and there is a communication between the individual and the entire universe. And I really believe the mitochondria is like the antenna that has a receptor to listen, to speak to, and communicate back and forth between that is the all, and the intelligence that has the ability to come down and help heal everything. And as we free that mitochondria up, it's kind of like having an antenna above your house that's been covered in leaves from all the years of storms. And when you delayer that through detoxification, those antennas are able to free up again and be able to communicate and be able to be one and do whatever work needs to be done there. And it's so exciting. This is the most exciting part of this program for me. And I think that this is the part of this program that is unique to this program. And someone can go and buy juice on every corner in LA. They're all over the place. But the conversation of the potential of what a detoxification and purification program to do to all areas of your life in manifesting what you really desire out of life and who you really want to be and who you want to be expressed in this life. This is a program, this is way beyond detoxification to lose a few pounds and to, you know, clear up a few symptoms. This is a program to have this is the first leap into your new life. This is the first step into you saying yes to you. This is the first step of saying, I want something more. I want to live a higher, more quality life beyond anything that I've lived. And this is the message, if there's something in this program that I am so excited about. So tell us more about the mitochondria.
Tell us
Tell me
more.
more.
Well, I think I'd rather stay on the subject you're just saying, and we can include mitochondria as well. But you know, a lot of people are on really a spiritual path. They're seeking answers, and sometimes the answers people are trying to find are through feeling better, feeling physically better, mentally more clear, and really it is part of that wide spiritual path that everybody is on. Not everybody, but most people are. In fact, everybody's on it.
You're spiritual or not. I'm sorry to break the news to you.
We're all seeking happiness, you know, whether it's through a new car, a big home, having kids, or I mean, there's many different paths. And some people may say, well, I'm not a spiritual person. But I think if we're in tune with Spirit, speaks to us in different ways. Sometimes it's intuition. The body sends us signals or communicates through symptoms. The body, the spirit are totally interconnected. So symptoms, the physical symptoms, are the means of communication from our spirit, saying, "Oh, I feel an ache. I feel a pain in my shoulder." And we, you know, instead of saying, well, what is this, what is my body trying to communicate to me? We, you know, many people run to the doctor and have blood tests and have x-rays and then finally receive some kind of prescription without really investigating what is the body trying to tell me with this symptom here. So investigation of the communication we're receiving from the body and from the mind is really a way of getting connected or in touch with spirit.
I have had so many clients, they'll have actual physical pain, like they have an actual pain that's been bothering them for years. And we go through a process, and the first process is to look and find the blessing in it. You know, why would the spirit do that? What is there? And they can track back and go, you know, I was really pushing myself too hard and I really wasn't having my priorities straight, you know, so I guess it was really a blessing because it slowed me down a little bit and I had to restructure a few things. And, you know, if I had become that, you know, top athlete that I was going towards, you know, it probably would have been great, but I think that I probably would have lost a lot more of myself and got my values even more messed up or whatever. We have to find, and they find something, the biggest blessing that's come out of that pain of their body, whatever injury that was. And in that, then they're able to say, thank you, you've served your purpose, I got the message. And then we can begin the healing around it. And it's amazing. I've seen things disappear automatically. I've seen them begin to gradiently get better. But this is the potential. This is the potential of that communication in the body. It's always speaking. Every symptom has a message. And that's one of the fun little things that will be exercise and journaling on, exercising. What would, if you had to, just using your imagination, as Einstein says, imagination is our greatest gift we have. So in that imagination, just playing with it as a game. What is the message that symptom is? What is the message? And whatever your interpretation is generally what it would probably be.
Yeah. And I just realized something, and it's a great conversation. I'm realizing that, you know, some people think the way to sort of spirituality is through meditation. Well, people going through this cleanse, because of how we present the purification program and the connection with the innate wisdom within and the spirit, is that when you're going through the purification, you will connect with spirit because you're going to go through a cleanse. you're going to go through some degree of surrendering to the process of cleansing and becoming well. And in one of the modules, I talk about my first water fast, which was a total purification.
Okay. Do not recommend that unless you want to go to hell and back, which we
No,
don't
we do
recommend.
not recommend that. We recommend the path of moderation. But it connected me with spirit pretty heavily. But it's a good story, and that I think that's a blessing of the purification. Is we're not just talking about a physical purification here. We're talking about a deep connection with this wisdom within and with spirit, which is an amazing benefit from going through the program.
Excuse me. That brings up a very good point in that obstacles. So as everything is a microcosm of the macrocosm. So how someone takes on this program is a perfect example of what is going to occur for all areas of their life. So if you're going to have excuses, or you're going to come up against walls and have reasons why, I just didn't see it through because X, Y, Z, or whatever that is that comes up for you, the walls within this program, this is a transformational program. This is a very intentional program. So whatever comes up for you in this area, this program is going to come up for you in every area. It may be an excuse like it's just too hard, or I just started this relationship and I'm not wanting to do this right now. Maybe later when this other thing's occurring. Whatever is there, whatever obstacle, this is a perfect place for you to work through all walls in your life, because I guarantee whatever comes up for you here is coming up for you in all areas of your life. So what are some of the things you've seen, Alex, around things that come up for people, why they don't see something through, like a purification program?
Well, before I mention that, I want to say one more thing about our program, and that is we're here to help people to improve their health, for sure. Secondly is how do we do that? We talk about modules and about the MP3, but we also have weekly live webinars. And hopefully those that are attending the webinars are there to not only learn, but also to ask questions, to receive support, to receive inspiration, get over those barriers of why they might want to stop the program. So I would say the primary barriers are, well, it works a little different in a clinic because people are set up on a program and they're scheduled to come in for therapies. They're scheduled to come in for colon hydrotherapy, ozone saunas, lymphatic hydrotherapy, all those, opening up all those pathways to reduce the peak of their healing crisis, to get over it more rapidly. So I'd say if we're speaking to those out there, I'd say it's probably getting into a situation where they're going through a detoxification, and they've got other things they've got to manage in their life, family, their work, whatever it may be, and just not having the energy to continue with those other responsibilities. So part of the module is timing, making sure that you realize that you have to have the ability to say no to not making any commitments during that period of time, taking the time to have time to rest, etc., to go through the crisis, to allow the inner wisdom to go through the healing crisis and get the impurities out of the body.
It sounds like a commitment like all of life. Someone said, I had a editor, and they said, I just need two things from you. I need you to get clear on what that title is, and commit to that only thing for 2 years, so that we're not going down this. So I go, well, yeah, the whole universe is asking for clarity and commitment. That's all it is, right? So I think that you have a great point there. Part of commitment is saying no to other things. The universe only listens in yeses. It doesn't know no. There's no such thing as no in the universe. So where are you committed? It's very clear you're committed at all points in time. If you're committed to being chaotic and not having time, you're committed to not having time. So this is a commitment to the self. This is a commitment to the growth and to consciousness and to wellness and to all the above to yourself, because if we can't love ourselves fully, how are we ever going to love everything out there? So this is a month for you. This is a month about you committing to you And it does take saying no, and no's not always easy because we're tested in ways to see what we're really committed to. But great point. I think the commitment is going to be always the biggest obstacle. What are you committed to? It's a great question. Great first question for people to ask themselves. Are you committed to this? What are you committed to?
And we've designed this program so it's not rigid. You can make, there's different ways of approaching detoxification. There's modifications to the program as well. Like a person has a fairly busy schedule during the week, they're working 5 days a week. We suggest that they're doing juices every single day, trying to get in the sauna as often as possible. I have written a part, if you don't have access to a sauna, how to do the saunas at home with hot baths and wraps afterwards. It's very, very simple. So if you're on if your life is fairly full right now, you can modify the Monday through Friday with, let's say, a meal per day, but lots of juices. Reserve the weekends for your more intense cleansings of doing juices only during the weekends, or continue with one meal per day for 7 days a week. So there's ways of modifying. It's not like you have to make a certain commitment to get this done in 30 days. You can expand it over a 6-day period of time. But the idea is to regain your health, you've got to get rid of impurities. There's no doubt about that. To not relapse after you've gone through a purification, you've got to get the environmental toxins out of your household, out of your medicine cabinet, out of your kitchen, out of your bathroom, whatever it may be, so you don't simply start to fill the body with resins or residues once again and relapse back into how you felt before. So it's not a rigid program. You can modify it based upon your lifestyle and your commitments and responsibilities.
I think it's good. I think that moderation is good, and there's a time and place to have it completely empty the bowl. So at whatever level, that's the goal here, is to really get to where, because you can kind of, take the toxic level down, but to really free up, there's a space that it needs to get way, way, way down there, and to really emptying it, there's a clear space that occurs that is not like a typical diet, not like a typical cleanse. This is a real, all the way down to where you free up a space you've never known before. And so if you do moderate, that's okay, but there's going to be a point in time where you got to go a little bit extreme in doing the last little bit that's going to go through those last walls of not feeling well. And you'll know, we'll be telling you about what the cognitions are, the experiences of getting into that free space, and you'll know it. There's definitely points where you'll know you've hit the clarity, right?
Yeah, and just to add some clarity to the model that we're speaking about, is that we're all born with let's call it a constitution, and represented by a container or a bowl. And over time, as we're exposed to these toxins and relationships and early life formations of who we are and our self-esteem, so to speak, this bowl that we're born with is slowly and slowly fills up until it's full and starts to spill over, and the body cannot take any more toxins, and symptoms are produced. Physical symptoms, mental symptoms. So the idea then with this model is that we want to stop filling the bowl with more toxins, and also to empty the bowl so it drains, and that's the purification part. So the purification part, our program is, let's understand how we're filling our bowl. A lot of things are invisible, they don't have any odors, etc. We must become more aware of what those are, stop filling the bowl, at the same time using the different ways of purification, of eliminating these residues and chemicals from our system.
Okay, great. Well, I think we've gone over the overview. So again, it's a 30-day program taking on education and an actual implementation of the detox. And then it is also an education of the spiritual realm, of how the body, mind, and spirit relates. That's pretty much the biggest distinction that is separating us out, I would say. We've looked at other programs, and there's not a lot of programs of detoxification as far as a community and a hands-on approach. There's some that are, have just a documentary or a longer program like schooling to become a wellness coach, but I've not seen any programs that are strictly for detoxification that have an educational component. So this is unique, it's exciting, it is cutting edge in that it's bringing the spiritual realm into it, which just doesn't make any sense for me to not have all of it together. So um, anything else you want to say before we end off on just an overview of what this program is?
Hmm. I don't think so. I
Okay,
think
good.
there are a lot of information. I think people have plenty of information. There's uh, more information on our website, which this will connect with. More frequently asked questions section. So please feel free to visit our website and get some more information and talks about the cost of the program. And I think that's about it. Now you did a great job. Appreciate it.
I am so excited to hear and witness and see all types of people going through detox. It is the most transformational thing out of anything. When I work with clients, it is by far the biggest, most impactful, like fastest transformation out of all the work. And it is a basis to where I really can't even work with anybody that hasn't gone through it either now, even on a spiritual realm, because it frees up so much stuff. We can see what's really going on, what parts chemically going on for them versus what's going on for them spiritually. And same with Dr. Alexander Haskell. He's found the same thing. It's hard to really work with a client until they've done this. It's a foundational work that gives you the platform to do all the amazing work that's beyond that. So thank you so much, Dad, for your time and all of your work. I mean, think about how many years you've put into all the knowledge sitting here on that couch. And all the people out there, I want to acknowledge everybody for showing up to their life, showing up to this conversation. And I know that it's taken, I'm sure, I can only imagine the work everyone has done within themselves to get to a place where they're ready to commit to something that is transforming and taking their life to the next level. So thank you everyone for showing up, and thanks Dad again for being here. Looking forward to the entire thing. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Ciao.
Bye-bye.
I am so excited to hear and witness and see all types of people going through detox. It is the most transformational thing out of anything. When I work with clients, it is by far the biggest, most impactful, like fastest transformation out of all the work.